You are only a student of 4 days here
4 days, yeah.
at Umpqua Community College. Just walk me through what you heard, what you saw. They initially heard a bang. The teacher wasn't exactly sure what it was. Yeah, a lot of emotions from parents and family members who are waiting for their loved ones. And how are you guys handling this? This is really tough for your small community. A day one after the tragedy here in Roseburg that took the lives of so many on the Umpqua Community College campus. Well, it's been the biggest question and unknown today. Who were the victims? And then just behind me over here, you can see that there's already a fence set up saying, "Pray for Roseburg." Talk about why you came out to the vigil tonight. Well, the uncertainty is clear for many now, but perhaps the toughest part is knowing those names of the victims. But a lot of students have been coming through the buses here, and a lot of family members are, of course, waiting for their loved ones. And there's a lot of question at this point about who those people are that may have been killed or injured. I just spoke with a couple of people who are looking for their brother. They haven't heard from him. They know that he was in Snyder Hall. So as you can imagine, they are certainly concerned. I'm also here with Sarah. She is concerned about somebody that she's been looking for. You mentioned, you are only a student of 4 days here
4 days, yeah.
at Umpqua Community College. Just walk me through what you heard, what you saw.
So today I just walked into class. It was kind of like an off day for some reason. I just didn't know why it felt weird. And so it was only about 20 minutes into class, and I heard like a loud bang, and I was like, that's kind of weird. So I looked over, and there's no textbook. I thought maybe it'd be a textbook on the floor or a table or desk ramming into a wall, but it was kind of loud, so it was like, what is going on? So then I looked out the window, and there was a couple girls running, like sprinting away from the building, and then I hear screaming after that first gunshot. And then I looked out and I saw the people running, and I said to the teacher, we need to get out of here right now. And then we heard the second and third gunshots, and she had opened the door, and before I knew it, I was already at the student center because I booked it over there. And I stayed in the financial aid area for the lockdown and stayed there until we were told that we could come out of that spot, but we had to stay in the building that we were in. We couldn't leave the building at all.
4 days as a student. How are you feeling at this point?
I don't know what to feel right now. I'm terrified. I'm stressed out about it. I was so excited to start college here, and it was going great for the first couple days, and then this happens, and it's just like I don't want to go back there for a long time. But I don't know how to feel about this right now. It's so scary.
And you're also looking for a friend of yours who also goes here?
Yeah, there's a friend of ours. Her son goes to the school, and she hasn't been able to contact him at all. He hasn't contacted her. So we're still trying to find him for them because they're 2 hours away. They're near Medford, so they wouldn't be able to get here quick enough. So we're trying to find him for them and let them know what's going on.
How are students pulling together right now on campus here? You know, lots of people are joining together, I'm assuming talking about what happened and how they're feeling about everything.
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of people joining together. I mean, I've just moved here from Eugene a couple months ago, so I know nobody, and I've already met like, I don't even know, like 30 people today. We've all joined up together. It was a very awful time for everyone, so we were all able to cope with each other, and some people still are kind of not knowing what's going on. Lots of people are in tears. I mean, I was for a long time. Some people are they don't know what to think, and they're just kind of, like a lot of people have anxiety about it too.
Well, I do hope that you find your friend. Thank you so much. We will continue to bring you the latest on this horrible shooting here at Umpqua Community College. And like I mentioned, buses are still coming through here. There are still several groups that looks like friends, family members waiting for loved ones. I did also speak with an employee at Umpqua Community College. She is a counselor, and she mentioned that she didn't hear anything, but she immediately got some electronic communication telling her that she needed to go into lockdown. And so there was a lot of frantic emotion there. And I did meet up with her as she was coming off of the bus, and she met up with some of her friends. A lot of tears, as you can imagine, as they hugged and reunited. We will continue to bring you the latest. We'll send it back to you guys now.
Healthcare center.
Yeah, you can imagine, certainly a tough day for everyone here in Roseburg. Very small, close-knit community. And like I mentioned, there's only a couple thousand students that go to Umpqua Community College, and there was certainly a lot of concern and worry about their loved ones. I was over at the fairgrounds earlier this afternoon. That was kind of the drop-off place for students, staff, faculty at Umpqua to meet with the people that they love. And one woman that I encountered, she was a counselor at Umpqua Community College, and she mentioned that she was actually hiding underneath a desk. A lot of fear there. She got some electronic communication from the school letting her know that it was not a drill, that she was definitely supposed to go into lockdown mode. And I was there for her when when the two of them, her and her friend, reunited. Very emotional scene there. Lots of hugging and tears getting off the bus. Another student who I spoke with, who was only a classroom away from the shooting, he said that they initially heard a bang. The teacher wasn't exactly sure what it was, and then she went to the door, wasn't sure if she was going to knock or not. It was actually just adjacent, so there's a door that goes into the classroom next to it, and that's where the shooting was. And he said that the teacher did knock, and that they heard 3 or 4 several bangs after that. And that's when they knew that it was shots from a gun, gunshots, and that's when they actually ran out of the classroom. He does say that he saw other students running out of Snyder Hall, a lot of frantic activity there. We will continue to bring you the latest on this developing story, and like I mentioned, and we did just hear from the president. I know that Bob Shaper will be talking about that, the president of Umpqua Community College. As she said that it's been tough, especially to watch family members waiting for that last bus. You know, a lot of unknowns. There was another 2 people who I spoke with who said that they were waiting for their brother. They hadn't heard from him, that the parents had gone to the hospital, but they didn't know where he was. So certainly a lot of worry about the people who are unaccounted for at this point. Live here in Roseburg, Sarah Hurwitz, KEZI 9 News. Douglas County Sheriff John Hanlon, how are you guys feeling? How are you guys handling this? This is really tough for your small community.
It has been a very, very difficult situation. We're getting by. Fortunately, we have a tremendous amount of support and help from other local agencies as well as state and federal agencies to help us with this massive investigative effort, of course, that we're going through currently.
I understand that there were some efforts, some new developments overnight. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Investigators were out all night, both at the crime scene at the college, as well as at the shooter's residence. They were going door to door through neighborhoods around the residence and around the college, trying to gather any more intel or information. As a result of last night's efforts, they identified a number of firearms that later today will be prepared to disclose the specifics, numbers and types of firearms that were collected.
I know that there are still a lot of questions today, you know, about the victims, that some names that may come out. And one of the questions I think yesterday had to do with the number. You know, we're talking about several people killed. Was the shooter, the gunman, a part of that number and the people that were killed yesterday?
Right. The gunman was one of the 10 individuals that were killed.
Okay. So in terms of the next steps, I know that there's a press conference at 6 o'clock over at the hospital. Are we expected to learn more about the victims and more information?
I wouldn't expect that you'll learn anything more about the victims at that briefing because this is a mass casualty incident. The notification process and protocols have to go through the state medical examiner's office. The state medical examiner's office was open all night, working on identifying the victims. And so at some point, hopefully within the next 24 hours, 24 to 36 hours, I think would be safe to assume that we should hear names.
Certainly a tough time for everyone here in the community. Thank you so much, Sheriff. We will continue to bring you the latest on this developing story. And like I mentioned, there is a press conference over at the hospital at 6 o'clock. We do have coverage with our other reporter, Oscar, and we will also be heading over in that direction. Live here in Roseburg, Sarah Hurwitz, KEZI 9 News. Well, it's been the biggest question and unknown today. Who were the victims? And Sheriff John Hanlon certainly didn't waste any time in releasing those names this afternoon at a press conference. It was the first thing that he mentioned as he took the podium this afternoon. And you could certainly tell that there was a lot of emotion for everyone who was standing up there. A son, a daughter, a wife, a husband, and we are learning also a 67-year-old professor who was inside that classroom. Now, we also know that it's particularly heartbreaking for the fire and EMS community as it lost 2 of their own, the students directly related to fire and EMS personnel. Fire District Chief Greg Marlar delivered messages from those families. Here's one of the statements from a family describing their son, his spirit, and their loss.
I have some remarks from the family. The Anspaugh family, for Trevin Anspaugh, would like us to thank everybody for their heartfelt thoughts and prayers during this difficult time. Trevin was one of the most positive young men, always looking for the best in life.
The family went on to say that Trevin was larger than life and a perfect son. And there were more family statements, families trying to find the words to describe the loss of their son.
This statement is from the Lucas Eibel family. We have been trying to figure out how to tell everyone how amazing Lucas was, but that would take 18 years. Lucas loved Future Farmers of America, volunteering at Wildlife Safari, and Saving Grace Animal Shelter. He was an amazing soccer player. He graduated Roseburg High School with high academic marks.
Sheriff Hanlon also fielded questions. He wouldn't comment on if the shooter was enrolled at UCC or taking the class where he opened fire. And the name of the shooter still has not been released. The Sheriff Hanlon does maintain that his department will not be releasing the name of the shooter to give him any attention. This certainly is touching so many here in the state of Oregon, across the nation, around the world. I also spoke with a mother who came up here. She lost her son in the Troutdale shooting at Reynolds High School, and she says that she comes to these things now for healing, to cope, and to be with the people who have also lost loved ones. Live here in Roseburg, Sarah Hurwitz, KEZI 9 News.